Hello, everybody, and I hope you're having a blessed day. And when it comes to our food, I have always been concerned about banks. Without banks, there's no food in the stores. Now, I'm not talking about growers, okay? That's a different issue. But the banks are the ones who back that. And without the money of the banks, we're in serious trouble. And the banks right now are in very serious trouble. And I believe that's going to leave us with enormous detrimental shortages and high prices. And what I've tried to do with this channel is to give you some ideas of what you can do with food, simple food, but to make it taste better. Yes, because you can store all the white beans, all the pinto beans you want, but under stressful situation and when things are not going good in life, yes, it'll feed you. Yes, it'll keep you from starving. But it's a whole lot better if we can switch it up and do something a little different with it so it has a different taste. That was something I learned from many years ago of not having much and wanting to be able to have better tasting food and some of the things that I could not afford at the restaurant. I spent many of my time as a young girl, or young woman, I should say, in Barnes and Nobles with tons of cookbooks and copying recipes. I have tons of notebooks full of recipes from cookbooks, and as I got older and was able to afford them, I actually bought a lot of cookbooks too. And I want to be able to share some of that with you because we are heading for disaster. It's going to be horrifying what's coming to us in the future, in the very, very near future. So I want to be able to share some of my knowledge with you guys to hopefully help and give you some really, really tasty and wonderful, wonderful cooking ideas from simple foods you have saved and stored. Okay, what I have here is a pot of white beans that I soaked overnight in 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to take these and drain them and rinse them. And then I'm going to put them into a larger pot. Okay? And then I'm going to cook them. So let's get that. Now here I have it. A larger pot. I rinsed and drained them, put them into a bigger pot, added salt to it. And I'm going to cook these several hours. Now these are white beans, and I'm going to do something a little different with these white beans than what you may be used to seeing. I'm putting nothing in them but salt. And then I'll put a lid on them, and then we're going to cook them, okay? Now next, I'm going to go to some chicken. Now, this chicken is a half. Remember how I showed you I cut my chickens in half, and I freeze half of them? And I've got this cut up into a leg, a thigh, a breast, actually 2 pieces of the breast, and a chicken wing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to season these really, really good. I'm going to season them with salt, onion powder, paprika, garlic, black pepper, and you can put other spices on there if you want to. That's totally up to you. But I stick to mostly just salt, onion powder, garlic, black pepper, and paprika. And I'm going to season these on both sides. Now, this is a recipe that I got from a woman, but she didn't make it this way. She used garbanzo beans. I don't care for boiled garbanzo beans, but a lot of people use garbanzo beans, and they will mix it in with their meat. I really don't like it very much that way, but I love it with white beans. Now, I'm going to finish this because I want to season this chicken on both sides, okay? I want to season it really, really good. Do not be stingy with your spices when it comes to this. So let's get this, finished up here and finish seasoning this chicken really good. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this once I get this seasoned up here. Here we go with some nice fresh black pepper on the other side, because we really do want to get this stuff seasoned really, really good. Like I said, now this makes 5 pieces. The wing, the thigh, the leg, and I cut the breast in half. And so that makes 5 servings of chicken. And what I'm going to do with this chicken, once I get it seasoned up here the way I want, is I'm going to put it in my cast iron skillet with just a little bit of hot lard. My cast iron is so well seasoned that I don't have a problem with it sticking, okay? So I'm going to put it in my cast iron skillet. All the pieces I'm going to put in there. Yep, one at a time, but this is 5 pieces. We're just going to put this in the skillet. This is going to be so good. It really is. And it's inexpensive, and it's easy to make. Hopefully you've stored some white beans. Most people have, and this is another way of kicking these beans up and making them taste just yummy. And having just a little bit of chicken. We're going to brown this chicken. The wing is my favorite. That wing is mine, okay? Sure is. I'm the wing person in my family. Look at that, nice and brown. Delicious. And those spices. Oh gosh, I can smell them. They're so good. Now here's our white beans. Now I'm going to do something to these white beans. I'm going to do a couple of things to these white beans, okay? I am going to add something. Look at that chicken. Isn't that good? I got some carrots and a little bit of tomatoes here. And some cayenne pepper. Yes, this is powder. And I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of this pepper to those white beans. Yep. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Now, you don't have to do that. You could add a little bit of paprika to the beans if you wanted to, or just a little bit of tomato sauce to them. Because I like for them to have just a tinge of red to them. And so you could add that. Now, I'm adding the chicken to my pot here because I've added my carrots and all that. And so I'm going to add that. And there you go. You see my carrots and tomatoes and everything. And this is canned tomatoes. Now, I had a few fresh carrots, so I just chopped the carrots up. And that was it. But I have just a few carrots there. And just one tomato that I had left over from something else. And I'm going to put a lid on this. And then I'm going to cook this all together until the chicken is done. Now, let's look at this here. See that? Doesn't that look good? And that cayenne pepper I put in there is going to give it just the right kick. Now, like I said, if you don't like cayenne or you don't like spicy food, that is okay. You can add a little bit of paprika to it, a little bit of tomato sauce to it. Don't be afraid to try something different, you know. I mean, white beans are wonderful, and a bowl of white beans or white beans on a plate are just fine. But variety, when you're in a bad situation and you don't have a whole lot, or you're really stuck, this is a good way to stretch those white beans. And, you know, a half of a chicken, that means you can take a chicken and half of it will feed 5 people, which is a good way to stretch it. Look at that. Oh, my wing, my favorite. And of course, the leg is for someone else, okay? I have a leg person here. I'm the wing person. I hope you'll really try this because it is absolutely delicious. Now, if you like garbanzo beans, go ahead and use garbanzo beans, but I like it with white beans.